am so stinking excited. And you're like, Dustin, you always say that. I know I do. If you live with me and you were my wife, you'd be like, well, you're not always excited. But in this season, I get the chance and the luxury of being the one who typically gets to tell you all the really cool things that God is doing in our church. And I get to do that again today. Anthony Villa wanted to be the one to do this. So we arm wrestled to see who would be able to give this announcement. And you see who is left standing. So let me get right into the announcement. I tried to do this once before, and it's a lot of info. So I'm gonna take it like a, sort of line by line and splice it together like I did once before, because there's a ton here and I don't wanna miss anything. So for starters, let me catch you up on the announcement. So not too long ago, the Supreme Court said that California churches can open back up indoors up to 25% capacity. So we decided the conversation of what does that mean for us? And I said last week that we're gonna do Easter services, but outdoors. So we are still doing Easter service outdoors. One service at 12:30 p.m. on Easter. Why outdoors if we can go inside? Because it's our first time back together. And rather than split up our church, I want the whole family there at one time singing songs together. So 12:30 on Easter Sunday. So you're like, but Dustin, at 12:30, I'm gonna be hungry. Got you. So right after Easter service, stick around because we're gonna have the grill out, have some water, bottled water, some chips, and it's just a family picnic. That's not a programmed family picnic. Bring a Frisbee, bring some cornhole, or grab some food and go. But just a chance for you to see some familiar faces that you might not have seen for a while, and have a chance to say hi to some friends that we've not been able to see because of this lockdown and this separation from our building. 12:30 Easter Sunday, the Super Bowl of church services, our Easter service, followed by a family picnic right after. Okay, so the question was, what after Easter? What do we do after Easter? So that's been the million-dollar question. Today, we had the leadership staff meet, and Ronnie posed just a great point that sort of seeded our heart towards trying to be brave and bold in this next chapter. And he said, Ronnie's like, I go to the gym every week and the gym's back opened up. And he's like, man, it's a challenge because I gotta wear this mask. But the idea of it being normal enough to go to the gym, I'd rather wear a mask in the gym than not be able to go to the gym at all. That sort of helped shape the conversation. So we began to say, okay, you know what? Maybe we do have to do things like wear masks indoors. Maybe we do gotta rethink what's it mean to be socially distanced in the church, which is usually all about hugs and handshakes. But I would rather work towards that, seeing you and singing together with you, than just continue to avoid it altogether if we can make it work. So here's the update. The Sunday following Easter, we're back indoors. 9:30 and 11 o'clock. It's the same service times as Gathering Space. No Sunday or no Saturday night services just yet. So Sunday morning, 9:30 and 11 a.m. What does it mean to have full services? Well, full service means we're back to having a full band every week. When you know, even before COVID, there were times it'd be just me and my wife singing acoustic, or Becky and Jen. So it doesn't mean that every weekend there'll be the same band, but we're building full production and creating a full service every weekend with lyrics on the screens and lights and production and just that environment that we all have come to know and love about Impact. But also, that's just in the worship center. Children's ministry will be back in full swing. Brennan is, as of today, as of about an hour ago when I finished the meeting, is starting to work to rebuild children's ministry. There might be some combined classes, but he's going to have children's ministry available for every age group. And then junior high and senior high will also meet every Sunday in the garage. They'll have their own student Sunday ministry worship service, student ministry Sunday worship service. And so all that's happening the first Sunday after Easter. So Easter outside at 12:30, the following weekend, 9:30 and 11 a.m. on Sunday, indoors, full services. And we were already planning on doing a service after Easter that we were going to call, Okay, What Now? And the whole point of Okay, What Now was going to be about Christ went to the cross, he was resurrected. What does that mean for us? This idea of living a victorious life, a free life. Like, what does that mean that Christ went to the cross and he defeated death and hell? What's that mean for me and you? So the series is going to be all about what have we learned. And so we're going to continue that series. So right after Easter, we're launching a series called Okay, What Now? But in addition to us learning what it means after what Christ did, we're going to also weave into that. We're back in our building. The first week of this series, we'll be in a building. And Okay, What Now is, okay, church, what have we learned about being in the church through the lens and grid of this last year, this COVID reality where for more than a year our building was closed? What now? We don't want to go back to everything that we did before. There was so much good there, but we have learned so much good. We have rediscovered what it means to, how do we be the church when we don't have a building? How do we reach into communities and reach into lives and reach into families and find creative ways to make a difference in our city? No walls needed. So just because we're back in the walls, we want to have learned something about being the church when we were without them. So that series is starting right after Easter. So what's it like? So you're showing up on Sunday morning, 9:30 and 11. So what's going to be different? Well, hopefully not too much. You'll be seeing a lot of masks, which will be unusual because we didn't have that going, but you're so used to that. Imagine when you come to Impact, it's like you're going to the grocery store or to the mall or to a restaurant or to anywhere else. So we're gonna ask you that you would wear your masks when you're inside because that's the state mandate and because we wanna honor those that are the most at risk by those of us who, even if we're not, being willing to wear those masks. It's gonna be weird to look at you singing with a mask on, but like Ronnie said, I'd rather be there with a mask on together singing than not have the experience at all. So we are asking that we be conscientious of social distancing and we do wear a mask when we are in the building. But more importantly than that, and this is, I don't even know how to say this to cast this vision deep and wide enough. Let's create a culture of kindness and grace. Let's not be quick to jump to conclusions about what is going on in somebody's head and heart because of the decision to wear or to not wear a mask. Maybe they just forgot or it slipped down. That's happened to me a million times. Maybe they can't wear a mask because of a medical reason. Let's lean into love and grace in this already very divisive time. When we open up the building, let's make Christ and worshiping Him the center and not make much about people's personal decisions. Let's do our best to personally honor the mandates of wearing a mask and of being socially distanced, but let's come to create a culture of oneness and unity and trust and not division. So last thing, so maybe you're like, okay, Dustin, I'm not ready to come back into the building just yet. So that was the bulk of the discussion today because God put on my heart, like I mentioned this on the last update, like I don't want to abandon those people that aren't ready to come back yet. And so we made a list of the things that we are doing now. Virtual service, things like movie nights, the fact that Deb's doing a women's study and it's virtually via Zoom, the fact that there are each of our ministry leaders make sure that we create things that are opportunities for people to engage no matter what their risk or concern level. Everything on that list are things that we're still committed to doing. So even though we are having full services, for those of you that aren't ready to come back yet, we still will have virtual service. We will still host events like movie nights where you can show up and be a part even if you're not ready to come inside. I mentioned Deb, and she's got a book study that she's doing with a bunch of ladies. As we reopen up, she's going to do one night is together with ladies and one night will be via Zoom. So be prayerful with us and be diligent with us as we are cautious to not abandon those that we've connected with in this virtual season. We are not willing to abandon that, even though we are excited for the work of being back in the church. We want to be continuing to grow the roots that have been planted outside of the walls of the church. So if you're not ready to come back yet, maybe you may never want to come back. We're going to create the space for you and ask you to continue to let Impact be your community of faith. So lastly, you're like, okay, what does this mean for me? What does it mean for you? It means that we need you. When I came here from a large church in Dayton, Ohio, where we had staff that ran everything. At Impact, we run almost entirely on volunteers. And so as we imagine reopening, we've needed you now more than ever. It's been a year, and for those of us that lead ministries, we just genuinely don't have a pulse on who is coming back. So if you're watching this, let's say you played with me in the band, shoot me a text and say, yo, I'm in. Maybe you worked with Brendan in children's ministries. Maybe you worked with Michael Orgy in guest services, or Anthony in ISM. Maybe you were a part of community life with Deb. Shoot them a text and say, count me in. Or maybe shoot them a text and say, I'm still around. I just want to wait a bit to come back. But we'd love to know sort of who we have in the waiting that's going to continue to come back to be a part of ministry in these kind of uncertain and confusing times. Maybe you've never served, but you would like to be a part in some way. Shoot an email to engage@impact.cc, engage@impact.cc, and say, hey, now that you're opening, count me in. I want to be a part, and we will find a place for you to serve. What a crazy time to be the church, but I'm so excited. Like, I got the chance for a year to do church like I never imagined having to do it. The church for me has always been about the building, and we had the chance to learn how to make it more than just about the building. So even though we're going back to the building, may we never ever re-anchor the heart of who we are on any property, at any address. Impact, we are the hands and feet of Jesus, and we are his church. I'm just so excited at the idea of expressing our love for Jesus together in the same place again. Let's do this thing.